I'm going to introduce a special guest in a moment. So I'll just wait a couple of minutes, see if anyone's going to join. So my special guest today is the lovely Sophie Fraser, and she's from the Sophie Fraser Therapy and Coaching. I'm going to bring her on now, and we're going to have an unstoppable chat about a life in the prime of our lives. So let me bring her up. Here she is.
Hello.
Hi. How you doing?
I'm really well, thank you. Well, I say that I have got a little bit of a cold, so if I sound a bit bunged up, I don't normally get them, but yeah, just today, it's just one of those days, isn't it? We all get them, so
that's no problem.
But other than that, I'm absolutely fine. I'm excited. I'm going on holiday tomorrow, so that's all good.
Oh, lovely. Where are you going?
I am going skiing with the family, so it should be good. Yeah, looking forward to it.
Amazing. So we've got a few wonderful people joined us, and
hello, everyone.
I get distracted when I start looking at all the names coming up. So I'm going to try.
Carol's joined us.
Hi, Carol.
Hello, Carol.
Carol's another one of our wonderful RTT ladies who we met in July 2021 at Live Marissa Pier.
I know. Yeah, it's amazing. Gosh, where's that time gone? It's just flown by.
It has. So, Sophie, let me just do... Well, actually, you can introduce yourself, actually, and tell the viewers what it is you do. What's your purpose and passion now that you found?
Yeah. So I am obviously an RTT therapist. I'm also a neuro coach as well. And the area that I've specialised, I guess, is to help people beat imposter syndrome. So I'm mainly working with other coaches, therapists, business owners that are really sort of stuck in their lives because imposter syndrome is basically holding them back from scaling their business, launching, the big things that they want to go with, and it's all the mind stories that we tell ourselves, isn't it? So
exactly
causing all the self-sabotage. So yeah,
exactly. And for those who don't know me, my name's Julie, and I'm the founder of Milliside Therapy and Coaching, and I predominantly support women in their prime of their lives to become unstoppable. And I want everyone to find their true purpose and passion, like I found and Sophie's found, because basically age is but a number, right? It doesn't matter how old you are, what you're doing. If you're not happy in your life and you feel like you haven't found your purpose and passion, then reach out, because we can definitely help you. And I found in my life really that I only recently found out in the last couple of years that I was actually suffering from symptoms of the peri-menopause. And that caused me lots of lack of confidence, self-belief, overwhelm, stress, anxiety, all that good stuff. And, having known Sophie for a little while, I know that she's struggled with some of those as well. So I'm going to ask her a few questions. We're just going to have a chat and see where we go from there. So, Sophie, question number one. As a woman in the prime of your life,
yeah,
what would you say has been one of your biggest challenges that you found and had to work through?
I suppose for me is that many years ago I had what would have been, I guess, a dream career. I worked in the fashion industry. I was a fabric buyer working for high street brands, but I was doing a long commute into London each day. So when I became pregnant with my daughter, who's now just turned 19, believe it or not, I took a step back from that role and that career to, I suppose, support my family, help raise the children. My husband at the time, well, he's still my husband, we're still together, but he was building his career. He was basically traveling all the time. And I thought, gosh, how am I going to do 12-hour days, 5 days a week? You leave at 7 in the morning, come back at 7 at night, and look after a baby, and he's away. So I couldn't see how that was feasible, because unfortunately in those days, although it was a female dominated industry I was in, it was not flexible at all. So their idea of flexibility was to probably give you 4.5 days, and that wasn't what I really wanted. So I fast forward 20 years, I kind of lost myself, although I had a really important role, and obviously raising my children was absolutely something I wanted to be there and to support them. in between it all, I kind of fell into another career. So I fell into digital marketing, which taught me a lot. And luckily, I was working for a consultancy, which allowed a lot of flexibility. So I was able to work from home 3 days a week, flexibly, still kind of enjoy what I'm doing. In between that, also, it transpired, but both my children have ADHD. And so that was another challenge, I suppose. You know, the parenting was, I guess, harder maybe than had we not had those challenges.
Yeah, for sure.
So yeah, so I guess I came through all of that and sort of started to ponder really what I wanted to do in terms of, for me, as my children got older. I certainly didn't want to carry on with the digital marketing. It didn't feel really fulfilling for me.
So you didn't basically have your purpose and passion at that point, did you?
I didn't, no. I started spending a lot of time reflecting on my purpose and passion. I think that's really what happened to me. I thought, you know what, I'm in my 40s. What do I want to do? My children are growing up. Yes, they still need me. We've been through an awful lot in terms of mental health struggles. That taught me a lot. I think it also made me very curious to know how the mind works. I did a lot of supporting of my daughter through certain things. And I kind of wanted to know more. So I spent a lot of time, started listening to podcasts. I started reading a lot of books, getting really curious, really wanting to know more about how our brains are wired. And that's what sort of led me down the path that I'm sort of really just so passionate about, in terms of helping other people find their path as well and to rewire their minds.
Yeah, and the same here. It's kind of, I was in the corporate world for over 35 years. It wasn't all horrible, but it was in the latter years really when I started being impacted by the symptoms of the perimenopause. But I didn't know it then. It's only retrospectively. But I mean, I struggled in the office really, because I struggled to think, remember things, remember people's names.
Yeah.
And then the increased anxiety and stress that kind of comes with it. And you feel like there's something wrong with you, don't you? And you've had that career all your life, but juggling a family life is really difficult as well. And I've had to do that. Been through a marriage breakup, blended families, now going through the empty nest syndrome. You know, it's kind of gone full circle.
Yeah.
I mean, what would you say would be one of the key things that you've noticed about the peri or the menopause that has impacted you?
Well, I guess two things. The brain fog was horrible. Just forgetting words. It would be really stupid things, but your mind would just go blank. And then, like you said, the anxiety starts kicking in. And then when the anxiety starts kicking in, that just kind of amplifies the whole feeling. And you just think, oh my God, I'm kind of going mad here. Why can I not think of that one word or that name? Or so yeah, the brain fog, obviously the physical symptoms, the hot flushes were horrible to deal with as well. That was yeah, and I was kind of, yeah, both those things combined were probably the worst for me.
Yeah, and I found that a lot with my clients. A lot of it is the psychological side that they don't always realise that they need help with, and they can actually get help from us, because with that, with the hormone changes and everything else that's going on, it does increase our anxiety and stress levels, doesn't it? And
yeah,
and then as a result of that, if we're stressed, our whole body's stressed, then anxiety is increased.
yeah,
And also the lack of self-belief and self-confidence, and that's where I found I was. But what we both know from the work that we've done, particularly with the rapid transformational therapy, but obviously all the other work that we've been doing to look into how the brains are wired, we now know, don't we, that we can change the way we think and believe, whereas in the past we didn't think we could do that. But now science can prove it now, can't it? With all the different brain scans and things like that, we can actually prove that if your brain's wired in a certain way, you don't have to live with that. You don't have to put up with that. We can change it, because most of it is just belief systems that we've created when we were children, and we're running our lives on those.
Yeah.
But also it's habits as well, isn't it? That where you can think one thing, but the power of the mind, you can just reverse that.
Yeah, exactly. I think that negative cycle of thoughts and then feelings and then actions and behaviors, like you say, that becomes wired into us. So if we have a belief about something, we look as well for more things to confirm what we think we know. So that whole confirmation bias comes in. And what I found with clients, I'm sure you're the same too, is that people don't realize that their beliefs are just a set of assumptions that we have adopted through our experiences as, you know, children growing up, and then different conditioning that we get exposed to, because we feel that those beliefs are so real to us. Well, they are real to us because you know, that's how we're living.
Believe.
Once people realise that, you know what, a belief is literally just a story that we tell ourselves, that we can change, we can reverse that negative loop into a positive loop. And obviously our brains affect our bodies as well. So like you say, as anxiety ramps up, that part of our brain that kind of deals with the stress also ramps up. So we go out of that kind of prefrontal cortex into our lizard brain. So that's when we get the tunnel vision. You know, probably all the symptoms of the menopause, for example, might feel a lot worse because actually your anxiety is sort of rising up as well. But yeah, you can definitely take back control of that sort of negative thinking loop and wire in what you want.
Exactly. And that's what's amazing. And that's what I love about what we can do, because we can interrupt that, eradicate it, and then it's gone forever, isn't it? And that's what I love about what I can do, and you do too. But I've also noticed with many of my clients, though, especially women in the, you know, in their prime of their lives, the older women, it's how it can impact your body in a physical way as well. You know, I've helped someone to walk again. I've helped someone with autoimmune diseases, arthritis, addictions as well, particularly like food, sugar addictions I've done. And there's a whole world of but I know that's not a physical condition, but there's different ailments, if you like, or different symptoms that you might not necessarily appreciate can be caused by stress and not releasing those emotions in your body. And as we get older, the more you've got, haven't you? So the more you're building up, and all of a sudden you're going to the doctors more than you've ever done before in your life.
Oh, exactly. And, you know, that mind-body connection cannot be underestimated, because our bodies naturally are designed to heal, designed to kind of be self-regulating things. But this stress response puts everything out of kilter, essentially, doesn't it? But once, as you know, if you can direct your thoughts, you can change your physiology. And what I always say is that think about the placebo effect. You know, people kind of discount that, but actually what they're saying is that, you know, in a drugs trial, that if lots of people are getting better just through the pure belief that something will make you better. So once you can kind of tap into that, it's like you've got the answer within yourself already. You just need help to kind of, I guess, direct it and start reversing it and getting it in the right flow.
It's very much about listening to the words that you're telling yourself, isn't it? You know, oh my God, I'm just going to die if I have to go and do that presentation. Well, guess what? Your brain's job is there to protect you. And when it's the day of that presentation, it will hit you with a headache or an illness that means you can't go, because it's your job, isn't it? And it's listening to the words that we tell ourselves and just reframing them. Just reframing them can really help, rather than saying, oh, I'm really useless at this. Do you know what? I'm not quite as good as I want to be yet. And it's just changing the way that we frame things, isn't it? It makes such a huge difference.
Yeah, that word "yet" is actually really powerful. And I always say the first bit of the step is consciousness, is becoming conscious to the patterns, and then and educating yourself. And I think as soon as you start kind of understanding and you can educate yourself, you can start taking that information through into change and transformation. So yeah, that the words and the pictures, because our subconscious mind is always always listening, and our subconscious mind is so powerful, because it's kind of really, I think by the age of, I don't know, 35, it's dictating sort of 95% of what we're seeing, you know, what we're feeling and experiencing, and all our habits and our emotions. So yeah, it's powerful. So we can tap that unconscious state and start plugging in what we really want. It just becomes automated.
It does. And like we said earlier, the fact that you now know that you can change your beliefs and you can change your mindset. And people use the word mindset all the time, don't they? And you're like, oh, whatever, mindset. But it's more than just the mindset. There's so many elements of it. But if you can just flip the way you think about one thing and see how that can change, and then you do it with more and more, and you just build up on it. But that's fine. We can do a lot by ourselves, and we can read lots of books, and we can watch lots of information and learn from other people, which is amazing, because we should always be looking to learn all the time. In fact, I keep going on training courses now, and I have to stop because I need to implement now. But, you know, I was like, I've never been like that before in my life, but now I found something that I really love.
Oh, I know. Yeah, you're just excited to learn more,
Yeah.
aren't you? To layer on to what you already know, because you know you can pass that on to your clients as well. So yeah,
exactly right. Exactly right. More we're like sponges now, aren't we? Just sucking it all in, and as you say, the better experience we can give to our clients. But that's the point. Sometimes you do need to reach out for help, don't you? And I've done it tenfold, and I'm still doing it now. I wouldn't be where I am in my life or in my business journey if I hadn't embarked on like investing in myself, like learning new skills and techniques, but also investing in mentors and coaches. And I do that all the time. I've got different coaches and mentors in different elements of my life, but you can't always do it on your own. And I think that's probably the biggest message I'd give to anyone that's watching this, really, isn't it? Is that don't suffer on your own. Reach out to the right type of people that you need and ask for help.
Yeah, totally. Like you, I'm investing in myself as well, and I will continue to do that, because I think it's also accountability as well, because it's easy just by the nature of how our brains are to fall back into old habits.
For sure.
And sometimes you just need that period of time to really solidify the learning, and to get somebody there that's just on your side, actually, that's kind of cheering you on the whole way. And that belief, I think, also rubs off on you, because when somebody else believes in you and somebody sort of says, right, here's the path, I've been through it myself, and I'm sort of, I'm not saying you're out the other side, but, you know, because it's a continuous learning cycle. But when you can just wire in those healthy beliefs about your own ability to change and evolve, and that you don't need to stay stuck, because that's the thing. People think, this is it, this is my lot, this is me. Particularly as you get older, you get more sort of stuck, I suppose, because you think, well, I haven't changed yet, so I'm never going to change. But that is,
I'm too old now, it's too late.
It's just not true, because what we know about neuroplasticity is that the brain is always changing, and it continues to change all the way through your life. It never actually stops because of neuroplasticity. But like anything, you've got to start the wheels in motion, and then the more you start those wheels, the easier it gets, and then it becomes a lot more fluid. It's like learning to drive. It's
a muscle, isn't it?
Yeah, it's like a muscle. The subconscious mind needs to be taught, and then it needs to become sort of more automated, I suppose.
Yeah, and your brain learns by repetition, doesn't it? So the more you do it, the more you'll get used to it, and the more it just becomes natural. And that's what I love now, right? I used to like really lacking confidence and wouldn't put my hand up for stuff. I'd be now I'm like, yeah, sure. What is it? You know, doing what we're doing now. Would you have thought you would be doing this? Little as it probably a year ago. Do you know what I mean?
Oh, as long as a couple of years. Do you know what? I just feel like I am so pumped for life. I'll be 50 this year, and do you know what? I've never been more alive.
Yeah.
More excited to. I just think, oh my god! And I'm working with this chap as well. Just recently, he's 58, and we've just done a session. He says, I feel like I've just sort of woken up, and there's part of him that's almost sad that he's just doing it now. But I said, it doesn't really matter when you start, because actually we've got the whole of our lives left to be purposeful, to bring, you know, passion and that back to our lives, and to live the lives, get back in the driving seat. So
I know, I love it. Absolutely.
Wish everyone was aware. Yeah, awareness, absolutely.
Yeah.
It's to know that you can be empowered to change, you know, and once you cotton on to that, you can just run with it. You can say, right, I've got this, I can do this, I can change the form and function of my brain, I can choose what I want to believe about myself, I can leave self-doubt behind, and all those feelings that we get drummed into us through our experiences, that I'm not good enough, I'm not ready, I'm not worthy of these things. That's all complete nonsense. We're all worthy, and we're all we all have this available to us. It's just the conditioning that we've had over our lifetime. So if
you're putting yourself first, just putting yourself first and knowing that you can, it's all available to everybody. But listen, Sophie, we've gone over 20 minutes already.
No, get so excited
for hours, couldn't we? So we'll have to do another one soon. And this is what I love about it, because it is just a conversation, right? But hopefully anyone who's watching this live and anyone who watches the recording, and yeah, Carol, we will have a recording of this, as long as Instagram is kind to me. We will have a recording, and you know, and it's just getting that message out there. So Sophie, thank you so much for joining me.
You're welcome.
If anyone would like to know more about Sophie, then the link will be in, you know, her social media, where you can
follow me. Yeah, have a look at my content. If it resonates with you, reach out. Yeah, you can get unstuck too. Just do it. Yeah, don't wait. Just know that you can change and change your life. Absolutely.
Exactly. And as my motto is, it's become unstoppable. But in this instance, become unstoppable in the prime of your lives, and live your life with purpose and passion, without the fear of making life changes. So for me, if anyone's interested in working with me, I run a fortnightly free webinar, funnily enough, become unstoppable in the prime of your life. And the next one's next Thursday, the 16th at 7 p.m. If you're interested, go into my bio and register for the webinar there. Or also you can register to book a free 30-minute discovery call with me if you would like to know more about what I can do to help you become unstoppable in the prime of your life.
Wonderful. Oh yeah, by the way, I'll if you want to get in touch with me, I can also do a 30-minute call as well. I'm happy to do that. So, but thank you so much for having me on, Julia.
You're so welcome. Thank you for being a lovely guest. Hope you have a lovely skiing trip. And
thank you.
Cold goes and